car.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. For those of you who want to find out more about us, you can go to our website at www.lifelaughterhappiness.com, which is the name of the sort of the centerpiece of the community that our lovely co-host Barbara created. She created the website. Are you there, Barbara?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody. Thank you for that nice compliment, Johnny. Yes, we have a wonderful website with all of our information, so do stop by there, and we have a contact page. Put your name and your email in, and we'd love to hear from you.
Now, I think our co-host Kelly might be with family, so she might join us a little late. If not, we wish her well. Our guest today is, and I'm sorry, I always want to make sure I pronounce your name correctly, Pardis Partrow, right?
Pardis Partrow, yes.
Pardis Partrow. Now, okay. Now, before the show started, and I don't mind, I want to know if you don't mind mentioning this. When you get ready, you do kind of like a prayer. Is that right?
There's always a way that mediums, so that they're not walking around reading people randomly, that they turn themselves on or off. I know some mediums, what they do is they envision like a traffic light. Some of them envision like a curtain opening. Others will imagine their chakras opening up. I do that sometimes too. But I do two prayers. I do two prayers, and that's my way to open up, and I prefer it that way.
Nice. That's beautiful.
If it's a private thing for you, would you mind telling us what you say?
No, I actually, when I do my readings, they're not private. I just didn't think about reading them to you. I wouldn't get caught up in the meaning of them. They're just,
I understand.
They just feel good to me, but I'll read them. No big deal. Here, let me read them to you.
I guess the point I'm trying to get at here is you mean a lot to us, and we don't just want to know about you. We want to know how you're doing. Don't you understand, Barbara? This is...
Oh, yes.
Let's figure out what she's doing.
It's a great question to ask her.
Well, you know what? I really value that. Yeah, I value that, Jonathan, because first of all, I also teach, and I think it's great, that people get a better understanding of how this kind of work works, and it helps people to be less afraid of it and more accepting of it, and it also allows people. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Before the show, I noticed I heard you. Before the show, I was hearing you whisper, and I was like, "Well, no, not this. She doesn't have to whisper, Just this is something that helps you do it. What you're doing is, if you want to read what it says to us, we'd like to hear it."
Yeah, I totally will. But what I was just also saying was that it's also great that you asked me about this, because there's a lot of people who have this capacity and these gifts. They might, as children, have seen spirit. And they just don't know how to work on it and develop it. And a lot of times people do feel the need to do this work, and then they're afraid because they're afraid that they're going to be walking around seeing dead people all the time, and they don't want to do that. So it's a really good question. It's always really great to have a way to open and close, so you're not walking around and seeing and feeling things when you're grocery shopping, because it can be quite distracting and uncomfortable. The first prayer, just to give you a quick story, actually, and I'll tell you the first prayer in a minute. I was at a doctor's office regarding my son, and as we were talking, as my son's father and I were talking to the doctor, all of a sudden my left arm started to hurt really badly. And I was in the middle of speaking, and I couldn't speak, and I felt like I was having a stroke. And I was like, oh, and I felt horrible, and I was in a lot of pain. And I realized that it was the doctor's mother, that she had come. And I said to the doctor, I'm sorry, your mother has passed. Is that correct? She's like, yes. I was like, did she have a stroke? Yes. Did she injure her arm? It was like broken before she passed away? Yes. And wow. You know, it was horrible, but, you know, luckily she was really gracious and she was really understanding, but my son's father freaked out. He was furious. He was like, why? He doesn't understand how this works. So he thought that I was doing it on purpose. I wasn't. So he was very like, why are you doing this now? And I was like, I'm not controlling it. But, you know, there is a school of thought that it's really important to control it so that you don't freak people out. And it's also important to control it so that you preserve your energy as well. And you also maintain a more focused life, right?
I can imagine.
Yeah. So since then, I make an intention to not walk around reading people and only do so when it's appropriate, right? So let me read you my first prayer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
After the prayer, I want to ask more about that. I know. Let's hear the prayer. I want to hear the prayer, and then I'm going to ask you. One
of the intentions of doing this prayer is to make sure that the information that I get is of the highest divine light, that it's not mischievous energy or energy that might be confusing. And the other thing is that I believe in the need for protection. There are some mediums who don't believe in that need. They feel like there's no such thing as bad energy. But I've had experiences where I feel like, you know, it's really important to ask for positive energy and make sure that it's safe. So here it goes. Here's the one of the two prayers that I say. God, please surround me in divine light to give me a clear channel to do my work here today. And please filter out any influence of any kind that is not of the highest divine light. And please allow me to be the purest channel possible to do your work here today. And may whatever is separating, how perfect. My father's calling on the other line. I got to decline that phone call. Like, what? Okay. Please allow me to be the purest channel possible to do your work here today. And may whatever is separating these people from their connection to you may be resolved and dissolved into the divine light. And God, please bless every moment of this session and grant me and bless me with the resources and the focus to do this work impeccably today. And I ask that we all be surrounded by bubbles of light and that our homes and our families and ourselves are protected from any residue that would occur from this session. Thank you, God, for I know that this is done. So that's the first prayer. And then the second prayer is something that I got from a woman named Doreen Virtue, who's written a lot of books about angel therapy and you know, working with angels. And she's also taught a little bit about mediumship and past life work. Unfortunately, she doesn't do this work anymore, but she has a prayer of protection in one of her books that I always really liked, and I've used this for years. I ask for and invite the holy presence of guidance of the Holy Spirit and Jesus into this space. And I ask for and invite the Archangel Michael to watch over us during this time. And I also ask for and invite the love and guidance of both of our angels and spirit guides. I now seal this room in the white light of love. If any spirit enters our session that's not here for our highest and best purpose, I ask that Archangel Michael and his band of mercy escort these spirits to the light for their own progress and prosperity. We ask for and affirm clear guidance for the highest purpose for which, and then I normally put the name of the person. So I'll say for whomever calls in here tonight. I ask that this information be given to me clearly, and then I be helped to convey it accurately to them. Amen. So those are the two points.
Oh, I love that. That just clears it to make it positive and clear and just, oh, that is wonderful that you do that.
No, why don't you go ahead with
I'm
your
glad
questions,
you
Barbara?
appreciate it. Yes, what are the questions?
Okay. Because I'm so glad this was brought up where you said, you know, you don't want to go walk around and be bombarded by all of this energy and have to read and that could drain and suck your energy out, all these things coming to you when you go shopping or something. And that's what I was always wondering about. And you say that people can actually turn that off. Wow. But so you don't turn it off, though. You can control it just by just being. And then is there any other thing that may bother you when you go shopping or out amongst a lot of people with all of that coming your way?
Well, I'll tell you an interesting story today. I try to shield and protect myself as much as possible, but today I had a meeting at my son's school, and one of the women in the meeting, as soon as she opened her mouth, I got hit with a waft of like breath, and it wasn't like I could smell it because actually my nose was a little stuffed because I was telling you guys at the very end of a cold, right? But it hit me, and I choked, and I knew I had to run as fast as I can to the bathroom to purge.
Oh, whoa.
Because the energy coming out of her wasn't positive. And so I have had instances like that where I've been in a room and someone's very emotive and very emotional, and I can actually take on that energy, and then I'll have to purge it out because it's not positive. So that's what, but that's beyond mediumship. That has to do, I think it has to do with some of my shamanism training, but it's about shifting energy. But I am not consciously choosing this. I feel like it's kind of like a sign for me, but it's also a way for my body. Like I said, I'm a healer too, so I think it's a way that like I just go into healing. Now, in terms of the mediumship piece, because you would ask openly about whether or not it's whether I get feelings or things like that. So for the most part, I do a protection practice, and that shields me from, I guess, energies that don't belong to me as much as I can. I try to do that. But yeah, I mean, I try not to walk around. I mean, there are moments, things happen. Like I was at my son's friend's house, and I was talking to the mom, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a gentleman standing with dress pants and shoes. And I just was like, okay, who are you? And he was like, I'm her grandfather. So then I asked her if it was okay, and I started talking to her about her grandfather. But for the most part, I try not to walk around because it's a little uncomfortable. I mean, I remember when I first opened up and my gifts really were present for me, I went to the movies, and it was like I walked by a crowd. You know how like sometimes you walk into the movie theater and there's a crowd of people who are also leaving because it's one of those multiplexes where there's like 12 movies going on at the same time. So I remember just walking in and being like, okay, he likes young girls. Okay, he has a drug problem. Okay, he is not good to his wife. Like it just, as they walking by me, it just gets that was too much. It's too much. So I try to protect myself. I wear certain crystals. I sometimes will wear a hat. That will help close me off a little more. And I set the intention that my energy is mine, and it takes energy to read other people, so I try not to do that. I try to enjoy people for who they are and how they represent themselves to me. But lately I've started to realize that I probably should try to read people a little bit more when I engage with them so I don't have to deal with some fallout. But for the most part, I try to walk around, I guess, like everyone else and experience life like everyone else, if that makes any sense.
That is so very interesting. Yes, because if you don't try to be like everybody else, you get drained. If I had that coming at me like that, I wouldn't want to go out into crowds. I mean, maybe it would be fun if you're in the mood for it, just like, you have different moods. Maybe sometimes you're in the mood for that, and that could be quite interesting. But nonetheless, I'm sure you are so super grateful that you have this gift.
I guess because I love what I do. Well, there's a price for everything, right? So
right.
I don't. That doesn't sound very positive, but look, I didn't choose this. I think it's a big responsibility, and it's a certain lifestyle. I am grateful for it in a sense that I love helping people, but it can be it can affect relationships. It can affect people the way they treat you. both good and bad. It can also be hard. It just can be hard. Sometimes the work is a little energetically draining, and sometimes it's also challenging to deal with certain kind of clients. It's just sometimes. I've been very blessed lately. I've had some really wonderful people coming into my space, but it's not all glitz and glamour and amazing like what people think. You know, there's other aspects to it. And
well, you must
I have
think
to say,
that we're okay. You know,
I think you guys are great. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
You guys are great. Love both of your energies. You both have good hearts. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we do.
And you know,
Johnny, she can see that we have good hearts, Johnny.
Yeah.
That's great.
And by the way, Barbara and Jonathan, you know, there are some mediums who, you know, they have different experiences with things. So there's some mediums I know who can like drink and smoke and eat meat and, you know, and all kinds of things. And like, they still do the work. I happen to be a medium that for my own gifts and comfort zone, for instance, I can't drink anything like 24 hours beforehand, but I do the work. I traditionally stay away from meat. I recently have started eating fish, but I have to stay away from meat, from like animal meat. There was a time where anytime I tried to eat meat, I would hear in my head, death begets death. Death begets death. And
wow.
I had a visitation from a famous spirit who told me while I was laying on the acupuncturist table with needles on me and I had nowhere to go, he said I had to stop eating meat. It was essential for my career and it was essential for my stomach. So I didn't listen right away, but yeah, I'm not one of those mediums who can like party like a rock star and still do the work. I have to really be like on I have to live like a clean life to do the work at my best.
That totally makes a lot of sense because that totally can make you drain your energy, consuming alcohol, and you just don't feel so good the next day. So I can imagine that would affect you even more greatly than just a regular person.
Well, you know what, Barbara? It's almost like I can still do the work, but it's like a constipation. I hate to turn it to the bathroom, but it's a little harder. It doesn't flow as easily. But I know a medium. I have a teacher. She's been she's been doing mediumship for 50 years, and she's in her 80s. She drinks. She smokes cigarettes. She has coffee. She does it all. She eats meat. She eats whatever she wants. And her gift is profound, and it's never affected it. And I remember upon training with her, she and her partner were like, "What is this? All your limitations? Like you can do whatever you want. Like this is not true. Like you could still do this as a medium." I was like, "That's your path. This is my path." So some mediums are able to do all that stuff, but I'm just someone that I'm better off and when I live like a cleaner lifestyle. High vibration brings high vibration. That's what I say, you know?
Mhm. So everybody's different. I remember at an audition for working with these sportscasters, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was so much younger, and I had partied the night before, went out to a nightclub, and I went in there. I didn't feel so sharp. But you know what? It paid off because I was so much more relaxed, and I got the part.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It helped me that one day, but it very rarely does. But that is so funny. So that's great, but it's nice to know a person that does the very clean living because we can learn so much for you. My mom's up there. It was my idea to make this huge pot roast for the family that just came in today, and, it smells so good throughout the house, and I can't wait to eat it. But I'm wondering what my body would be like if I just stopped eating beef and chicken and just went the natural way. I bet it would be a lot easier to keep a nice svelte body. Probably, because it takes so long to get that out of your body.
I feel like I vacillate through this. Like I kind of go back and forth, and I feel like there is some truth to like your blood type. I do feel like there's some people who do really need that meat. But one thing I do know is that when you don't eat meat, you're more connected. Your vibration is higher. It's easier for you to read situations and connect to spirit. For a lot of people, you're less grounded. So the other counter aspect of not eating meat is you can be a little airy if you're not careful, and you can be very sensitive. And
yes.
so you have to make sure that you eat grounding foods that come from the earth, like carrots and celery, that keep you planted and in the ground. Because let's face it, when you're using your upper chakras and connecting to spirit, you can just be up in the clouds and be a little la la la, but you want to balance that, I feel, with other things so that you can be more centered. Yeah.
Some people I've known, they cut out meat altogether, and then they had to go back to eating meat because they would get shaky. And so but there's probably a lot of other things that you could replace the meat with. So that's something to look into. I've always wanted to try that, and I will talk to you about that. And then incorporating always yoga. Yoga is so important. It keeps the body flowing and not so stiff and tight, and that opens you up a lot too, doesn't it?
It does. As a matter of fact, I think there was a time when I started on my journey, it coincided with the fact that I was doing yoga every day. And I think that really helped. I helped a lot. And then so check this out. And then I put my name in, my contact information for a raffle. We had one of those tragedies. I can't remember. It was like Haiti. It was a long time ago. And I put my name in as a gift for someone to win at a fundraiser for this tragedy. And I thought to myself, okay, this is great. It's a great way for me to get my name out there. And whoever's going to win, they're going to get a reading with me, and they're going to be so happy. And I might get a new client, or they'll refer people to me. And wow, this will be great. So wouldn't you know it, the guy who won me as a reading was mortified. And this is over 10 years ago, when it wasn't as popular as it is now to know about mediums and psychics and healers and accept them, right? So he was mortified. He was so upset. He acted like he was given like an STD. And when I asked him, I was like, well, don't you want to I think I even tracked him down at some point at the event, and I was like, listen, why don't you just give it to a friend if you don't want it for yourself? Oh, no, I couldn't do that. I was like, what? So that was a bit of a bummer, right? And I thought, okay, this is a dead end. But then what ended up happening was I put my name in to win, for the fundraiser, and I won the best prizes there. I won Lululemon clothing for over $300. And I also won all of this yoga equipment, like high-end yoga mat, yoga blocks, a yoga strap. The universe was telling me to continue with yoga, right? And then on top of it, when I went to Lululemon, and I was there to buy, or just get all these clothing that were for me for the dollar amount that I was gifted, the sales girl ended up connecting with me on such a profound level that she became a client. She referred 5 or 6 family members and a bunch of 6 to 8 other friends. And interestingly enough, it ended up opening the door for my career on a whole other level. But, I started out with a good intention. I thought it was going to go in one direction, but it ended up manifesting in a more powerful way, because it was like, you need to do yoga. Here are your tools. And by the way, through that, we're going to gift you a connection with this amazing young woman who's going to connect you to a lot of other people. So, yoga definitely has been important in my life. And I just recently started to do it again. But I now need to, but then I fell off it a little bit, but I'm going to go back into it.
But I think that is a perfect example of staying positive, because you could have gotten all down about that guy not wanting to do a reading with you, but you didn't let that get you down, and look what happened.
Totally. And you know what I always say? I always say that life is like a treasure hunt. So what does that mean? That means that, like, you know, you get clues to go to the next step, and then sometimes you mess it up or it doesn't work out. But it doesn't mean it's a dead end. It just means that sometimes there's another clue to take you to the next destination and the next destination and next destination. Is that you just have to have faith, and you have to surrender. You have to believe that you're being guided to where you need to go. And that just because one direction doesn't work, it doesn't mean that something else doesn't work. But you have to make sure that when you face a dead end, that it's not going to mess you up and slow you down or distract you from looking into the possibility of being directed into something else that could be very fruitful for you. You know, because I have to tell you that it was through my difficulty with passing a second bar exam that I ended up meeting healers that ended up telling me that I needed to do this work. So if I had passed this other bar exam with flying colors, I would have never have learned about healing. And then I would have never had the career, necessarily the career that I have now. So there was a blessing in my not succeeding in one aspect of my life.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I have to change the subject really quick because this is just amazing. Remember the last show and you were talking to me about my grandma?
Yes.
Oh, I have the two sons and daughter here, which is my mom and her two brothers, and I just asked him what her favorite drink was, and remember you said what it was, and Scotch, Chivas Regal, and water.
Did I? You know what? I have to tell you, Barbara, I don't remember every my readings. Like whatever comes through, sometimes people will bump into me on the street and they'll be like, oh my God, I'm doing Pilates. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, you told me to do it. And it's like working out so like you were the one who suggested it. And it's like, it's working out so great for me. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So if
like
you're telling me I told you there's, yeah, but also like it's literally coming through me, right? Like I'm just like getting the information and relating it. It's like it's just like passing it on. So I don't hold on to stuff all the time, and I don't always remember. So what you're
like
saying
you're the
to me
messenger.
is, I am the messenger. In many ways, I am the messenger. And I've gotten so for it.
It's just so amazing, though, when you do this for people, though, to them, because they're going to remember for sure, because we don't get readings like this all the time, and you're doing it almost every day probably. And so, but the last time you said, I see her, like, with probably like a scotch, and I'm like, I just asked him since he's here, and he just texted me. I'm downstairs. He's upstairs. Scotch, Chivas Regal, and water. And that's what you said that she drinks.
Amazing.
Well, not the Chivas Regal, but Scotch and water. You said Scotch. So, I mean, oh, my gosh. I have chills from this. This is so amazing.
So let me ask you this, because when we were starting, now, I remember this much when we did this. I think it was last month. But when we did this, let me ask you this: was she the sassy grandmother, or was she the other grandmother?
Well, I was kind of going back and forth because both have sassy. And okay, the one that we were separating, how we told them apart, was the one was a race car driver later in life, but I never saw her drinking. You know, I don't think she ever did start doing what she wanted to do ever. Except for like that, because her sons helped her get into that. But like this other grandma, I think this is the one that you were really channeling, because this grandma was the one who wanted to do it sooner in life, and then later on in life, she got the husband. She wanted the fun, charismatic husband, and she started doing what she wanted to do, traveling around in the Winnebago trailer and stopping and having drinks with strangers and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. So let me ask you though. Then the other, so this there, I feel the presence. I'm going to tell you this. I feel the presence of someone, and I feel like she is a grandmother energy. But I feel like this is the one. This might be the other grandmother, because this one is. I see her on a motorcycle for some reason. But you're telling me that other grandmother would race cars. Is that what you said?
Yes, the other Grandma Moore, on my dad's side, ended up racing cars. But I don't know about a motorcycle. I should text him.
Yeah.
Should I text him again and ask him?
Yeah,
I don't want to go up
I mean,
there.
this is the thing, though. Let me just, because this is the thing, though, Barbara. Sometimes they're show me stuff, and I've just got to maybe tap in a little bit more to her, because I'm talking more to you than I am to her. I'm going to be honest. But sometimes they show me stuff for other reasons. It may be that she's riding a motorcycle now on the other side. Sometimes she has a message behind it. So I'm talking a lot to you. Let me just see if I could bring her in closer and see if there's anything she wants to say. Thanks. So do you know if I almost feel like one is here, but I feel like the other one with the drink is here too. And I feel like she's almost like trying to make herself, it's interesting. So now it's like she's trying to get in. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a woman with an apron on. I'm seeing this woman telling me that this is her favorite time of year, that she really enjoys family gatherings, and that she's also telling me that this part of the family, that she's saying that they were a rowdy bunch. She's saying that when they get together, they have a lot of fun, and there's an unbridledness in the way that they behave, in a sense that everyone just kind of says how they feel, but it's positive. It's not a negative energy. She's saying that her family, they always try to keep things on a positive side. And she's also telling me that there was home baking, that there was, she's showing me the turkey, of course. She's saying that it was an all-day affair of cooking. And I also feel like she's just telling me there's just tons of food, just lots of it. There's some households that are measured with their cooking, even on the holidays. She's saying there wasn't any. She's also giving me the feeling that when she got older, she didn't really pay that much mind to her waist. She just kind of did whatever she wanted. Does any of this resonate with you at all?
Not about that. I think she always cared about her figure. She was one of those fashion ladies that just, maybe she was frustrated with that, though. You know, at a certain age, it's hard to keep a waist. But
yeah, it is.
But it is kind of rowdy, and we do say whatever we want, and we're always smiling, and we're always happy, and there's never been a problem with any of the family members, and she loves all of her kids. Her 4 kids, she loves them.
Well, she's telling me,
so glad.
So when I'm asking her more about the waist thing, and she's saying to me that you're right. She definitely was very mindful, but she said that during the holidays she didn't stress about it, that she did let herself enjoy herself over the holidays. But then what she's saying to me, she's showing me the calendar, and she's saying by January 15th, she was back to watching herself like a hawk. And she's saying that she is really mindful, but that during the holidays, she's showing me elastic pants. She's saying that she was more relaxed around the holidays, but that she said she did get back on her regimen. Yeah.
That's so sweet and interesting, because these are things that, she wasn't telling anybody, but those were her thoughts. And that's how I am too. I just want to enjoy it, because in the modeling business, we have to be so careful all the time. Is there once a year that we could just go eat pie and go eat whatever we want, and the dip and the chips the day before and all that? And that's what I was doing. And I'm like, why can't I let myself do that? And so she has the same mindset as me. But she cared about her outfits, and she wanted to wear her outfits. And it's not like she was going to let herself go so she couldn't wear her favorite clothes.
Mhm. Mhm. There's also something she's saying about how when she left the house, because you did say that she was fashion oriented, but I also feel like when she went out of the house, she's showing me heels. But she's saying in the house though, except when she had company, she would wear slippers or be very comfortable, like kinder on her feet. So she tried to be mindful. This is what she's showing me. She tried to be mindful of respecting her feet in a sense that when she wasn't with company or having to dress up, that she would be wearing sensible shoe, like, keeping care of her feet, whether in slippers or something. But definitely, I'm also being shown heels. Does that make sense at all?
Yes, she always had at home like the most beautiful slippers, and they were always nice. And yes, she was a slipper wearer at home. But, you have to remember that I didn't grow up around her. It was like a 2 times a year visit to Grandma. So I don't know what she would be like on her day to day. I just wouldn't even be able to tell you yes or no on that. But that's so sweet. Thank you. I'm glad that she came through, and that I just told all of the aunts and uncles up there today, I said, I bet Grandma would be so happy that we're all together. And they looked at me, they're like, yeah, she would. And that you're here. And I go, she would? And they're like, oh, she is probably looking down and so happy that we're all together.
You know what? I feel like this is a woman that really took good care of herself. Now that I'm seeing she's showing me her hair was nice. Did she wear, I know this is very common for people when they get older, but I almost feel like I'm seeing a pair of glasses and I'm seeing like a chain connected to the glasses. I also feel like, was she like a full figured woman? Like she's bringing my attention. She's bringing attention to her bosom, and it's almost like she's trying to show me that she had she was ample. Does that make any sense?
Well, I think she was just normal, but she wasn't too big or too small, and she had a nice figure. And later in life, she even did fashion shows. And she, you know what? A lot of people wouldn't let you do their makeup, but on her 90th birthday, I came out here to Spokane, and I brought her some Chanel foundation and gifted it to her, and she let me do her whole makeup. And she sat there. She was so proud that her granddaughter did her whole makeup, and she went to it was like a assisted living, and she went out and they had a big party for her, and she was all glammed up with her beautiful outfit on with her brooch. I don't remember the glasses thing, but she was so proud of her makeup job. I mean, she loved being glamorous, and she was known for that when she was young, as having the best outfits and being like the fashionista of the town.
Yeah, she's also telling me that I also feel like she had choices in terms of who she would partner with. I feel like this was a type of woman, when she was a young girl, she was pursued by other suitors. I just feel like what she's telling me is that she's been blessed. She was blessed all of her life of being a good-looking woman. That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
And then she's so funny. She's like, and the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree with you.
Oh.
And she's saying that it runs in the family, that you actually, it's not just you. She's saying you've been blessed, you have a good-looking family. That's what she's saying.
Oh, she is, yeah, my cousin, who she was so proud of, too, was Mrs. America. And, so she did pageants her whole life, and she was very proud of Chris, too. So, yeah, and a lot of them, they're very nice-looking. That's so sweet that she's proud of that. And she had my picture, my headshot right by her bed, and that was the only one that she had by her bed when she died. Is my photo, and it said, Merry Christmas, Grandma, I love Barbara. And I have it. They gave it back to me, so I cherish that.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, I want to see if she has a message other than just giving the evidence. It's like I'm being told, like, I just hear enjoy yourself, but also there's never enough pie. I don't know why she keeps talking about the pie, and she's saying there's just never enough, and to really enjoy yourself. And I don't remember if we ever talked about this, Barbara, but are you thinking about writing a book about your life, your experiences? Because she's showing me you writing a book, and she's saying that you've had moments where you've maybe been more focused on it, that idea, and then there are moments that you're not. And she's saying you really,
Yeah.
it's a good opportunity for you in 2020 to start focusing on that book to get back to it.
Okay, well,
If I
thanks,
might
Grandma.
intersect, I'm curious to know if because me and Barbara we're getting ready to do a creative project together, and I'm wondering if she picks up on that. Because you said a book. You know, I'm talking about, Barbara, the project we're talking about. That we're doing together.
I do, and that's great. But also just writing those things down. I will start doing that. So thanks. That's a good message, and that's inspirational. Okay. So you can tell her thank you for me. And So thank you for talking to me through her. And that was special. But, Johnny and I are going to do something creative, and she probably would have loved hearing about that. She never would be bored of anything I had to tell her, and she would be like, oh, that's so exciting, and just be, like, gazing at me, like, with pride, with her little hands folded, and just, she just would just adore all of her grandchildren.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she's saying to me to tell you that, like, you're very special and you don't want to forget that. But she's also saying that you've had a very interesting story that I almost feel like you have some insider information. Like you just kind of know things about people and situations. Yeah. And she's just saying that you shouldn't necessarily hold back. And you want to write your story because it's an interesting story and it could help a lot of people. Now, as far as Jennifer, you've been asking about the project, she's not talking to me about that project, but it doesn't mean anything. It means, she really wants Barbara to write that book. She feels like it's really important, and you can always do both.
Really?
Yeah, you can always do both. Yeah.
There's a lot of people have told me that throughout the years that I should write a book, but I think, I got a lot of life yet to live. And shouldn't I wait on that? But I guess just start writing down some things, right?
Yeah,
I guess
I should do that.
I don't know.
One of the things that's always been very resourceful about Kelly, not Barbara, is how resourceful she is. Kelly's resourceful too, but it's like with Barbara, I've always noticed that Barbara can it's like, I talked to some friends and then they set it up, and then it's like it's amazing what she can do. It's like how resourceful Barbara is.
Thanks,
she's a lady
Johnny.
with a connection.
Well, you know what? If you don't ask, you don't get. And if you don't think, you're not going to be doing anything. If you don't put your heads together and just your thoughts and just do it. Hey, we only have one life here right now, right here. I believe that there's other lives, but let's make the most of this one we have right here. Why not? What are we waiting for?
Exactly. Do we have any other questions or calls or anything?
No, but we should take some calls. Do we have some callers, Johnny?
We do have a caller.
Yeah.
First on the air.
Let's do that.
Hello?
Area code 212, you're on the air.
Yes, hi.
You're on the air with Pardis Partrow.
Hi there. This is Bryn from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, what question can I ask you? What kind of question?
You didn't have.
He's a medium.
You decided to have a question after you call. That's funny. Well, Bryn, you don't have a question, or you?
Well, no. What? Can I ask for a certain relative to come to? Is that it, or?
Yes, of
okay.
course.
All right. That's what I wanted to know.
I was like, why did you call if you don't know? No offense, but I was like, he only wants to figure out he has a question now after he calls. I was very confused.
Okay.
But yes, of course, ask for a relative. Let's see if they will come through.
I have a great grandfather on my father's side. He's Native American, and he's one of my guides. And I was wondering if you'd be able to connect with him, or if there's any message from him at all.
Okay, let me see. And your name is Bryn, right?
Yeah, Bryn, B-R-Y-N, yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. So So I feel the presence of a Native American man. I feel he's very powerful, actually. I feel like he's, it's interesting. He's dressed in traditional clothing. I feel like he's covered in head to toe in like I see like a deerskin shirt and like pants.
Right.
I see like a headdress. I also see a pipe. I see him smoking. I feel like he was a very peaceful man, but a very strong man. I do feel like are you aware of him? It's so interesting. He's telling me like he had to walk the line between like his Native American culture, but also the white man world. I do feel like he knew about both worlds and had to learn how to marry the two. I do feel like, let me see, are you working on a revision? Let me see what he's saying to me.
Sure.
What he's saying. It's almost like he's saying that to give the evidence, you didn't really know him. Is that correct?
I didn't know him. I just
That's what
know,
he's saying.
Yeah, I didn't know him, right.
Yeah, I feel like he's saying, I don't really want to get too much into evidence because he's saying that you know some things about him because you've been told, but you don't really know him. And so what he'd rather do is get into the message for you. Was there ever a period in your life that you smoked?
No, not at all.
Okay, so let me see. Why am I?
My father smoked a pipe.
Aha.
And I believe he's on my father's side of the family.
Yes. Let me ask him, what side of the family? He is on the father's side of the family.
Yeah.
What is this about the smoking? It's so funny. He's like, just make sure to don't do it. Just don't smoke. He's like, it's not good for you. It's not good. It's not. Yeah, he's saying that it's not good in the family either. Like your constitution. Like there's some people who can smoke for the rest of their lives, their entire lives, and they never get sick from it. But he's saying it's just not good in your constitution and your family.
Yeah.
Do you tend to spend a lot of time at home?
Yeah, now and again, yeah, I do.
He's giving me the feeling he's saying that it's important that you get out more, that you spend more time in nature. He's saying that you tend to stay sedentary at periods of time, and he's saying that it's really important that you connect to nature. If you can go possibly like upstate or go to how people in New York they go to Woodstock or just go for a walk, even if you can go in Central Park. And go for a walk.
Sure,
it's really important to you because he's saying that you're actually very intuitive and that you do get information, but you ignore it a lot. He's saying that you always tend to it's like you second guess it, like, oh no, that's not true. I mean, have you found yourself like you get a feeling about a situation and then you go, oh, that can't be, and then it really happens, or you were right about it, and then you can kind of kick yourself because you didn't listen? Have you ever encountered that?
Sometimes
he's saying that you want to, he's saying that you want to listen to yourself more because you do have a lot of wisdom and you do have a lot of intuition about how to handle things. He's saying you're very hard on yourself, and that if you were to listen to your intuition about things in a positive way, he's saying that when the negative things, it's not always intuition, it's sometimes fear, right? So you need to make sure when you're being fearful versus when you're really getting information. And he's saying that I'm being told to tell you that meditation would be very good for you. That if you were to do that on a, I feel like you don't do it every day though. Do you do it every day?
Yeah,
I don't feel like
sometimes it's spotty, a bit spotty.
Yes, it's funny that you said spotty. I feel like I heard like you drop in and out of it. So you go and you try and then you don't. And he's saying that you want to keep up with it because it'll amplify your abilities and your gifts. I'm getting the feeling that you are interested in paranormal stuff. Is that true?
All my life, and shamanism and Native American stuff, and indigenous, all that. Yeah,
he's saying you're very interested in it, and he's saying that your abilities and gifts are going to expand and become more as you continue working on your craft. Have you wanted to write a book too?
That's come up in the past. I just don't know what it would be about. The book, for sure. I'm not
but
sure what it would.
But I feel like you read a lot about different things, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of different interests,
Yeah, it's like what I'm hearing is that writing would be very therapeutic for you, actually.
Right.
And that
yeah,
if you were to, and you know what's so interesting about you, Bryn, what I'm being told to tell you is that you don't even need to write about something you know about. You could write about something that you have an interest in, and then you're the type who would educate yourself as you write about it. And you wouldn't, as long as you didn't have to worry about getting it right, it doesn't matter because you actually have integrity. So you wouldn't write about BS. You would just you would just go out there and make sure that you were getting the right information and write about it. So what I'm being told to tell you is to just make sure that you pick a topic and find something that really interests you, that you find to be appealing, and write what not only what you know, even if it's a little bit, but then do the research, and that'll be fine because that's what a lot of people do anyway.
Sure.
You're not going to be writing fiction; you're going to be writing nonfiction. That's what I feel. I mean, you could do research to do nonfiction or fiction, excuse me, but I feel like, he's saying that there is storytelling in your family.
There was, my dad was an actor. My dad was a stage actor, and my mother was an acting teacher. So
fascinating. So he's saying, but he's saying like they were very good storytellers. So he's saying that you actually could, if you wanted to, do a little bit of research and then make it into fiction, because he's correcting me. He's like, well, he could write fiction if he wanted to. I'm asking if there's anything more. He's just saying it's really important you get out of the house, that you make sure that you get the blood flowing and also connect in nature. And do you ever take classes at like the Open Center?
I have in the past. Yeah, I've been in I've been in a development circle. It stopped. It ended, but I used to be in a mediumship development circle on Monday nights, but they stopped it. So I feel like it would be good to get back to that at some point. And
I'm starting one in January. I'm starting one in Williamsburg in January. Yeah, come.
Wow, that's right. You're in my neck of the woods. You're not too far away.
I am. So so in January I'm planning to start one. I just sent my proposal to Grand Street Healing in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I'm hoping that they're going to be cool with it. But come to my circle
That'd be a good idea.
In Williamsburg, and if you go to my website. It's not up the exact time yet. It says to be determined. But just keep up with me on Instagram. I'm at Medium Psychic Healer Pardis, spelled P-A-R-D as in David, I as in Igloo, S as in Sam. And then also my website is my name, P-A-R-D-I-S, and then P-A-R-T-O-W.com. So, or you can even see it on the website, so I didn't have to spell it all out for you. But the bottom line is that keep up with me because your gifts are ready to expand more. You just need to trust. But I feel like you are just starting to get more into this work. Is that true?
Well, I've been.
Well, let me just put it to you differently.
Yes, kind of no. I mean, I feel like I've had.
I feel like you were into it in the past, and then you stopped, and then I don't know. It's time for things to move to the next level. That's what I'm I've been trying
to break through the ceiling that has been above my head, and I think there's been some trauma in my life that I'm trying to let go of. Probably from the ages of 0 to 7, something happened. I'm not quite sure, and then it's been a blockage, energetic blockage, that I'm working with a healer to to undo. And so
have you investigated your throat chakra? Do you feel anything in your throat
yeah,
chakra at all?
I've been told, and I know the throat chakra seems to be a hot place for me in terms of it being blocked, and
it's a past life thing. I'm going to tell you right now. So I do this work, but if your healer does, I don't believe in like poaching people from people. If you have a healer that can do this work for you, then please continue working with them. But I feel like what would be very beneficial is if you could go and see if you can release this. It's from a past life. It's not just. I mean, sometimes stuff happens in childhood, but this is also past life related for you. And and so
I might look into that with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely up to you. What I do is I help people get in a relaxed state, and then in a relaxed state, the client, they themselves will tell me, oh, I feel tightening in my throat. I feel, let's say, my left hand getting warm, or I feel like a nauseated maybe feeling in my belly or whatever. And then we go in and we explore it, and actually you're the one. With my guidance, you'll be able to distinguish and say, actually, I'm getting that it's both this lifetime and a past life. And then we'll also, I'll help you distinguish what year it is, what country, and so on and so on. And then through that, we use breath work to clear it. And then sometimes I'll have to bring in divine energy to help lift off anything else that needs to be cleared. But the thing about the throat with you is that it's hindering your self-expression, and it's stopping you from getting out there more. And I know why, that writing is very good for you, because that will help also clear your throat chakra. But were there other kids in the family when you were growing up?
Yeah, I have a sister. My sister,
Yeah. Did you ever feel like you weren't getting enough attention at some point?
Well, my dad went through trauma, PTSD after World War II, and I think it told on him as being emotionally available to me as a son, and so I had, and then on the other end, I would think I was overmothered. My mother, and so there's all that. Those dynamics happened in answer to your question. Right.
There's like a non-balance in that. I'm just being told, don't worry about it. It's going to be cleared, but that you have many gifts. And that you have the capacity of doing more. I mean, do you have an interest in helping people?
Well, yeah. I mean, I do foot reflexology. I've been doing that for 25 years, but I'm ready for something else. I do a little Reiki. I do some readings myself, now and again. I'm interested in helping animals, like learning more about animal communication and healing. I am very interested in the mediumship work. Channeling very much. I got into that in that circle that I used to be into. We did some exercises that were interesting. So yeah, that's my answer. Those are the kind of things I do. But I'm ready to get to, like you said, I'm ready to get to the next level.
I think what could help you, what I feel like can help you is if you keep up with your meditation, try on your own time to see if you can ask for that energy and see if that energy in your throat. And also I feel it in your solar plexus as well, and a little bit in your root, and sometimes in your crown. The crown comes in for you for like worrying, because I'm being told you worry a lot. But what I feel is that there's a possibility for you to shift and move things. I feel like 2020 is going to be a really good year for you, because I feel like you're at a point in your life you want to focus more on your gifts. I feel like you've had as I said earlier, you've had moments where you've done it and then you stopped, and then now you're back into it again. And 2020, I feel like it'd be good for you to do it, and I think things are going to shift and move. And I do feel like you could, I mean, you know, there's some people who really prefer working with a male healer. So there is a need for more male healers out there. And there's no reason why, if you pursue this, you couldn't do a little something if you wanted to. But your so your Native American great-grandfather. It's funny, he's kind of thanking me for saying all of that, because I feel like you've been getting messages to do this work for a while, and like you start and stop and start and stop. So what he's saying is, it's funny, I'm being told, if you get to know me, I'm not going to let you stop.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I encourage you to keep on your path. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'll keep in contact with you, Pardis.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Absolutely. Thanks, Brent.
You really encouraged him.
Thank you.
Him, Pardis. Yes, thank you for calling. And I just want to encourage all the listeners and just let them know that we are now going to have parties once a month for sure on our show. And so go to our Facebook page to see the next date we are going to have her on, and go to her website, PardisPartrow.com. Is that correct, Pardis?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't even know when the next date is yet. Did we decide on that, by the way? We decide on the next date?
Well,
I'm not sure.
I mean, let's see. I mean, I'm sure we can. What I'll do is I'll call you after the show, and then we'll go over some dates. Okay?
Okay.
Oh, that would be great. Because you just did.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you know what it was?
Hmm?
We were thinking like the last Wednesday, but then we realized it was Christmas, I think, for December. So we have to just figure out another date in December. But usually, I think our goal is around the last Wednesday of the month. So yeah. So we'll figure it out and we'll post it. I post on Instagram and Facebook when I come on with you guys. So anyway,
yes.
I want to thank
you do a
you
lot
so
of
much.
events too, and we don't want anybody to miss your events. You had one last night, and you were telling Bryn, our
you
caller.
know what?
How'd that
Thanks
go?
for bringing that up. I do. It went great. I actually have one at a hotel called William Vale on the 12th in Williamsburg, and that is a Gemini full moon connect to a guide journeying meditation. It's at 6:30 at William Vale, and then I have another one on the 9th, full moon in Gemini at Grand Street Healing, also in Williamsburg, but that's at 7:30 at night. I'm teaching Reiki 2 on December 7th, Saturday, at Grand Street Healing, for those of you who are interested in going from Reiki 1 to Reiki 2. And I also, and I have another I have another event, a journey meditation in January as well at Grand Street Healing. But if you keep up with me on Instagram, I'm always posting about what I'm up to, and there's going to be more. I'm going to be doing more events in 2020. I feel like it's going to be a busy year, thankfully.
That is awesome. Yes, and next time you're out my way, I want to plan ahead. I don't want to miss it, because these are amazing. This is amazing.
So check this out. I'm going to be in LA. I forgot to tell you. I'm going to be in LA definitely like January 29th to like February 3rd. I'm taking a crystal alchemy class at Redondo Beach. I really want to incorporate sound healing and crystal sound bowls in my journey meditation work. So I'm getting training in that, and I'm excited about it because it's pretty awesome. People can see things more sometimes when sound is incorporated. So
that's so interesting. I definitely want to meet you in person, Pardis.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have you part of our Life, Laughter, Happiness team now. So thank you for coming on tonight, this busy Thanksgiving Eve. We really appreciate you and love you so much. So thank you. We can't wait for the next time. So we'll be posting when we're going to have Pardis on next time. You guys stay in touch. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can hear this show again and see all of our other shows there.
All right. Sending love and light to everyone.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.